If you grew up thinking Wendy's was the classy cousin of fast food, square burgers, real beef, that smug "where's the beef" energy, then the story of how it all collapsed might hurt a little. Wendy's wasn't just good. At one point, it was great. But today, the chain is closing hundreds of stores, investors are irritated, breakfast keeps flopping harder than a pancake dropped on tile, and the beef isn't there anymore. But before we understand what went wrong, let's rewind to a time when Wendy's was Wendy's. Before Wendy's became a giant chain with 6,000 US restaurants, it started with one guy, Dave Thomas, a former KFC employee with a serious love for burgers, fries, and doing things the right way, whatever that meant at the time. Dave had this dream: create the fast food equivalent of a comforting, dependable grandpa. Good ingredients, no shortcuts, fair prices, and portions that didn't leave you wondering where the meat went. After failing to find the burger he wanted in Columbus, Ohio, he literally shrugged and went, "Fine, I'll do it myself." He even put his own daughter, 8-year-old Melinda, on the logo because he didn't have the money for market research. That chaotic, creative decision somehow worked, and Wendy's became the cool new kid in town. Wendy's didn't just serve burgers, it changed the industry. In 1971, it invented the modern drive-through window. Yes, that thing you shout your order into at 1 a.m., Wendy's started it. Wendy's also came up with square beef patties because Dave wanted you to see the beef sticking out beyond the bun. It was the first to introduce the value menu, where you could buy a burger, Coke, and fries for a discount. Wendy's introduced the salad bar because Dave wanted his customers to have a healthy choice. People still talk about this like it was a national treasure. Wendy's was different, and everyone who visited in the 70s or 80s felt it. From the newspaper print tables, to the breadsticks, to the foil-wrapped burgers, it all had charm, a vibe, a soul. By 1976, just 4 years after franchising began, Wendy's had 500 locations. By the 1980s, it had gone full mainstream, backed by one of the most iconic ads ever. "Where's the beef?"
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper or Big Mac. At Wendy's, you get more beef and less bun.
Hey, where's the beef?
That commercial roasted competitors so hard, it basically became a cultural meme. Food was good, prices were fair, Dave was wholesome, and the fries? Chef's kiss. People swear they tasted better when Wendy's was yellow. And honestly, they might be right. By the late 80s and early 90s, Wendy's was sitting comfortably as the number 3 fast food chain behind McDonald's and Burger King. The Frosty alone was pulling in hundreds of millions of servings a year. And fans loved Dave's friendly commercials. He appeared in over 800 of them. Wendy's wasn't trying to race to the bottom, cheapen ingredients, or squeeze every penny. It just made good food, and didn't treat customers like they wouldn't notice the difference. But then came January 2002, and everything quietly changed. Dave Thomas died at age 69, and it was more than the loss of a founder. It was the loss of Wendy's moral compass. Dave was the guy who insisted on quality and refused to cut corners. Without him, the board and new management started operating like typical corporate operators obsessed with profit margins. Prices went up, ingredients slipped, the barbecue sauce changed, the fries got worse, and that beloved 99-cent menu? Gone. It wasn't a single bad decision. It was death by 1,000 cost cuts. Customers noticed fast. Wendy's suddenly felt like a chain trying to imitate itself. Hey there! Enjoying the story so far? Hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you think. And stick around, because the downfall gets way messier from here. Even though Wendy's still kept a decent reputation for some time, the cracks grew wider. In the early 2010s, Wendy's ditched its iconic yellow branding for a modern red look. Sure, fast food chains love red. It supposedly triggers hunger. But fans felt disconnected. The nostalgia? Gone. The charm? Gone. The vibe Dave built? Also gone. But it wasn't just cosmetic changes. Nearly all Wendy's restaurants are franchise-owned. Only about 400 locations are company-operated. And when big franchise operators fail, Wendy's feels the pain. In 2020, NPC International, who owned more than 400 Wendy's franchises, went bankrupt. Then, in 2023, Starboard Group, another major operator, declared bankruptcy. Losing entire groups of restaurants at once was a corporate nightmare for Wendy's. Meanwhile, Wendy's also missed out on international expansion. Chains like McDonald's have 1/3 of their stores overseas nowadays. Wendy's has less than 20%. Part of that is due to a wild legal battle. A different Wendy's restaurant already existed in Europe, and the US Wendy's keeps losing lawsuits over the name. Another problem was their attempts at launching a nationwide breakfast menu. Breakfast items like the Egg McMuffin are extremely popular and profitable. Wendy's has tried to replicate McDonald's success and failed repeatedly. It failed in 1985, then 2007, 2012, and it's still struggling with the latest effort from 2020. It invested $20 million, then promised another $25 million, but the chain still couldn't catch up to McDonald's $2 billion a year breakfast dominance. Then in 2024, Wendy's accidentally sparked one of the biggest fast food controversies ever when it announced it was trying to bring in dynamic pricing. People who were already fed up with Uber's surge pricing lost their minds, and the backlash was brutal. Wendy's scrambled to clarify they weren't raising prices, but the damage was done. Apart from these problems, Wendy's has been plagued with lawsuits, PR hits, and bad headlines. Recent years have brought lawsuits over cases of E. coli contamination, biometric data collection, misleading advertising, and claims about burgers not matching the photos. Even when Wendy's won those cases, the negative press stuck. In early November, Wendy's announced they'll be closing 200 to 350 restaurants across the US between now and 2026. This is on top of the 140 closures already announced last year. US same-store sales are down 4.7%, while competitors like McDonald's and Shake Shack are growing. Wendy's newest menu win, its chicken tendies, sold out fast. But one product can't fix the bigger issues. The interim CEO says closing underperforming restaurants will strengthen the system. But honestly, when a chain starts shutting hundreds of stores, the vibe isn't turnaround. It's please don't panic. If you boil it all down, the answer is almost poetic. Wendy's is failing because it stopped being the Wendy's Dave Thomas built. The passion died, their quality faded. They threw out the nostalgia with a rebrand. And that secret sauce that once made Wendy's Wendy's just got lost over time. The chain could still recover. It has loyal fans, strong branding, and a place in fast food culture that won't disappear easily. But if the company wants to survive long term, it might need to stop looking at spreadsheets and start looking backward at the guy who built it in the first place. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more business breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.